Hello, and welcome to the Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
Copper Rock Real Estate. Commercial and residential real estate in the Mid-Willamette Valley. CopperRockRealty.com. Independent Merchant Brokers. Low-cost and no-cost debit and credit card processing. 877-460-4747. IndependentMerchantBrokers.com. Join Boson Hub Digital Development in supporting Kicking Cancer. Kicking Cancer provides support, education, and resources for cancer patients, survivors, and families. Kicking-cancer.org. More than just a home, the Arbor at Avamere Court in Kaiser. Arbor at AvamereCourt.com. Assisted living at Avamere at Albany. AvamereAtAlbany.com. Discover Oregon Real Estate. Experts in luxury home sales, farm and ranch, commercial, business sales, and land developments. On the web at dore.llc.
And now, your hosts for the Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott, here again on another Monday. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, it's the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. So
yes.
This is our first show for a new month.
Yes. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. And just, you know what? It's a blessing to be here every Monday. I was just talking about on my last show how much I love Mondays, and I'm just blessed for the new opportunities and a new week. We have a full week ahead. Great things ahead, right, Scott?
Yeah, I always look forward to Mondays. I get to hang out with my friend Russ, and we bring in the most remarkable people on the planet today, Tim Davis. Another inspiring story, lots to learn, but a lot of ways that people can get involved, and that's I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my goodness. Tim is amazing and doing so many things. God is working through him to do incredible things. And I just can't wait to get talking to him. But first, we got a couple of things we got to remind everybody. We're here every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And that's 11 a.m. Texas Standard Time for those of you Texans. And we would love for you to join us every week. But you know what? If you can't make it, this actually converts to video podcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. You can still see it. And if you missed that, you can actually go to audio podcast and watch us on Spotify or listen to us on Spotify. We would love for you to do that and be part of our video, our audio network. But also, this is part of the Experience Radio Network. It also broadcasts on radio stations. For more information on that, you can go to local.theexperience.video. That's local.theexperience.video. There it is. Get it up on the screen. And today you get all the information on Scott and I and on the Experience Local, as well as our flagship show, The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Got lots of great things going on. Even the Waco experience that Scott's got going on in Waco. We'd love for you to learn more about that. You can also subscribe to our YouTube, or you can go straight to the experience.video. That will take you directly to our YouTube page. And we'd love for you to be part of that and subscribe today. Right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of information there. There's books that both Russ and I have written, and you can find those. And also, you can hire Russ as an inspirational speaker. Now, there's motivational speakers out there, but you want an inspirational speaker for your event, for your business, for your company, for your organization.
Well, I would love to inspire and encourage you. That's what I'm all about. And I thank you for that promo there, Scott. But you know what? Also, Scott is full of great wisdom, and you need to get in touch with Scott today. Both of our information will be ticking along the bottom, along with Tim's info. You do not want to miss that. And again, just go to local.theexperience.video, gives you all the information, or at least starts you on the tour of information for Scott and I. We'd love for you to be there today as well. Also, we have a whole week coming up here, Scott. What do you got going on?
Well, I tell you, we just came off of Startup Waco, ran Startup Weekend. It was actually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I partnered up with a college student from the McLean Community College. She's a freshman over there. And we pitched the business idea, went through, did the whole thing, did our final pitch at the end of what this business might look like, and we won. So that was a lot of fun. And just that type of thing. I encourage people, get involved in the startup events around your community, and take your kids, teach them to make a job and not take a job.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is so true. And you're so good at that, Scott. So congratulations on that. You betcha. You betcha. Well, before we get going, remind everybody to share this out and tag your friends. If you're watching live, we'd love for you to do that and just be involved with all that's going on today. Engage on the show if you are here live today. And also, if you're watching on replay or listening, we'd love your comments and your likes and information there. That would be so great. This show is all about believers in business and local companies and ministries and believers that are making amazing things happen, like Mr. Tim Davis today. And Scott, I think we should just get Tim in the room and get things started.
Let's move on to his wisdom and inspiration.
All right, Mr. Tim Davis. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. It's so great to see you. And I was blessed to be able to track you down for coffee here in the last couple of weeks, and so much going on. I don't even know where to start. So tell us, who in the world is Tim Davis and what are you up to?
Man, well, I've been a small business owner half my adult life and pastor half my adult life. And so what I'm up to now is kind of this perfect blend of both of those, I think, giftings. So running a nonprofit mentoring organization, Valor Mentoring, and our facilities are the Rec Inc. So, yeah.
Well, and I'm telling you, people don't even realize the enormous impact that you're having through the Rec. You're growing with more locations with the Rec. You've already gone from the main location, which everybody, by the way, is a bowling alley and a fun arcade and a place to meet and all kinds of fun stuff. Then they've got the Grange in Kaiser, Oregon, and you're also moving to some other locations. I don't know if you're able to talk about that, but there's lots of great things happening.
Yeah. We started this as just an idea. Me and two friends who were mentoring other guys, we began to just duplicate what we were doing. Turns into a nonprofit mentoring organization. Now we have over 350 volunteers, 31 employees. 5 years ago, we bought and renovated the bowling alley here in town. So it's a 24-lane public access bowling alley with lots of cool, fun stuff, live stage performance stuff. There's a podcast studio. I'm sitting in right now, one of our podcast studio. We have two different podcast studios. And so 140,000 people a year coming through the facility. And about a year and a half ago, we bought and renovated the Kaiser Grange, which is now the Rec Grange, which is 200 yards from the local high school. Where it's a coffee shop and youth center. With upstairs, you got this whole space of $30,000 worth of video and audio production equipment, where we run after-school programs like photography, hip hop, dance, video games, video production, audio production, piano, guitar, and on and on. So, and all of those programs are provided at no cost to young people. So,
and Tim, I'd love to have you tell us a little bit about the philosophy of Valor and one of the reasons why you have like bowling alleys and coffee shops in the facilities that you guys set up.
Yeah. I think we always thought that we would engage the marketplace in how we do it. We were thinking smaller, but I got this idea to buy the bowling alley, and I called a local banker and said, hey, I'd love to buy the bowling alley and make it into a public access community center. I got 12 grand in the bank. How about you give me 1.4 million? And they're like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. So, yeah. And so that's continued to grow and influence. We host 1,000 events for 25 people or more in this facility. And so we don't even track the 25 and under events. And so, there's 365 days in a year. You're like, Tim, you sure you're doing the math right? I am. At least 3 a day. Large events are happening and so on. So, yeah, the idea is that we're not registered as a religious nonprofit. So, but we're faith forward. Jesus is our leadership model, and we don't apologize for it. So we're in public school, private school, juvenile system, foster care. Everybody's continued to beg us to expand our programs, and they really could care less about our faith because we do it responsibly, and nobody's really doing what we're doing, and we do it for free. So, yeah.
And the students work there.
Yeah. So we, out of those 32 employees, 12 of those are teenagers. About 8 are first-time jobs folks. So they can start as interns or just applying straight for a job, and away you go in our organization. We've got stuff, of course, on hospitality side, front desk at a bowling alley. We have a full restaurant and cafe. You've got mechanic stuff in the back for bowling, and then you've got live performance and video and audio production, and so there's lots of opportunities for young people. We outside of bowling, we don't do sports as an organization. So we don't do basketball, we don't do soccer. Those are wonderful things. I played all of those, but we focus our one-on-one and group mentoring, and then we focus on music, media, and the arts. So
Right.
Not everybody was an athlete, and so that's how that got going.
Well, what I love about all that you're doing is, well, first off, let me just say the coffee shop part is the greatest place to connect if you're mentoring with people, because it's my favorite place to meet. And you make great coffee, by the way, because I just had one the other day at the Grange. But, I love what you're doing, and the fact that your heart is for the community. I know that through the last couple of years, my cancer journey, going through that Kicking Cancer did some things, and they partnered with you to put something on at the rec in Kaiser that was so amazing. And I appreciate you just being able to have that space for all that they did. They had a live band playing, and it was so much fun. So with the mentoring part, this is the part that I want to really get into, because your faith is so strong, Tim. I mean, you've already talked about your past and all that you're doing, but you obviously saw a need in young people, and you're meeting that need in a miraculous way. So talk a little bit about the mentoring and what you're really trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I grew up, my parents divorced when I was 2, moved 21 times between 3rd grade and 10th grade, including Brazil and Colorado and Alaska, and many moves in between. So I had real inconsistent male role models in my life. Mom got sick with cancer my junior and senior year and passed away a few months after high school. And so I was pretty gifted athletically, had maybe some opportunities for scholarship, but I needed to pay rent. So I just started working and found I had some leadership skills. I got into retail and then management, making money, buying Corvettes, drinking tequila, and chasing girls. And then I met this Jewish carpenter in my mid-20s, Jesus, and I began to change my life forever. And so you flash forward now, we're just doing really what God did for me. And I knew then that I was in my mid-20s. I'm like, I want to be a husband and a father someday, but my manhood tool belt is just about empty. And so I just began to look for guys who did manhood well, that did fatherhood well, that did husbandry well, and just tried to learn everything I could. And I'm still doing that today. I tell people all the time, listen, I got the best marriage I know on the planet. I've got the finest woman I think that God ever created as a wife. Every word of Proverbs 31 is who she is. I've got 2 young adult kids that serve the community with integrity, and I've got a great credit score, but I still have 5 mentors in my life. And so I don't think you ever arrive. I think that God made me a lifelong learner. He also made me bold and a risk taker. And so I think as we've seen what God's done in our first facilities or 2, that's just grown our passion to do more of it. So what we've created is, if this was like a franchise model, which it's not, but we've created something that'll work in every community. And so we need at least 5,000 square feet. We need food and drink to be a part of that, and then spaces that we can run programs and have the local population use the facilities. So yeah, we do it in a Yep, go for it.
I was going to say, Tim, although I know, I'm sure that your wife is wonderful. Both Russ and I might argue that.
I would definitely think my beautiful wife is the most beautiful wonderful wife. But but what I wanted to say too is, you're just to add on, you're those community centers, those recs, those places where people can gather and be mentored. You're strategically placing them as well.
Yes. Yeah. So like the one coffee shop and youth center is 200 yards from the high school. And we intend to continue to do that locally. We're in the process of putting together a location across the street from McKay High School. So it's in North Salem off of Lancaster. If you're that 68% of all crime in Salem Kaiser happens within 3 miles of McKay High School, and 100% of all youth gun violence happens within 3 miles of McKay High School. So that's why we're going to put a facility there. We've got some grant money we're trying to pull together, and I believe it's going to happen, and we'll open it by fall. We're on site in those schools doing surveys with youth and meeting with the principals and the superintendents. We've got endorsements from all the mayors, all the DAs, the chiefs of police, the county commissioners, the superintendent of schools, so it's really humbling to just be allowed to continue to do what we're doing. And we've doubled in size every year in our existence. And if you're a hot dog company, you're doubling in size, you're doubling your revenue, but all we're doing is continue to double our commitment. So it continues to need more resources, right? And more people. And so I'm super fortunate. We attract insanely talented, gifted, smart people, both board members and staff people that are far smarter than me and have gifts that I definitely don't have. So that essentially is the model. We've done a unique thing of creating spaces where the civic community, government, faith community, and education come and equally invest and collaborate. Yeah.
And Tim, you've talked about some of these locations there in Salem Kaiser area. You have a vision. You have a big vision for Valor.
I do.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the next locations after McKay will likely be Dallas, Dayton, and Woodburn. Those are cities, if you're looking at this from Texas, those are cities that are like 15, 20 minutes away from Salem. Those conversations are happening with the leaders of those cities. And then we plan to be in all 50 states the next 14 years and do 1 million hours of mentoring in a single year by 2030. So that might sound like pie in the sky stuff, but
we've talked about expansion into Texas.
Yes, and then outside of the state, then the first 2 locations will likely be Boise, Idaho, and Waco, Texas. And so we have some strong relationships there. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, you sent me that stuff. I'm still having conversations. I've got some people that live just outside of Waco, and I'm just trying to discern what's the order of the dominoes. Right. And I don't necessarily have the money for all these locations, but my father owns cattle on 1,000 hills. And so
there you go. And
we've continued I didn't have 1.4 million to buy a bowling alley either. Right. So,
I remember we talked to a pastor when I was in college, and he was at the Deaver Connor Church. And he said, Scott, we don't start any ministry based on need. We only start a ministry based off leadership. And I'm sure that's really, really what you're looking at is that in each of these locations, you need to have leaders. So tell us a little bit about the leadership at the local level.
Yeah. So you want to have engagement with those entities like government, civics, education, and faith, right? But we start typically with relationship with churches, the boots on the ground. That's 100% of our mentors come from the church, big C, not any particular denomination, but yeah. And then it moves from there to relationships. We have relationships in all 50 states through 3 or 4 different organizational partnerships. So, and we're in the well, let's see, I shouldn't talk about some of this. Anyway, we're in the middle of developing the next thing above, let's say, regular mentoring, which is leadership development. We're developing it in some conversations with some folks from Chick-fil-A and other things. So, again, I'm humbled every day to continue to be this convener of these amazing things that are happening. We prevented suicides last year. We prevented a murder. 27 young people gave their life to Jesus in our buildings last year. And 26 kids since we opened that Grange coffee shop next to the high school, which was just last fall. So that's 6-7 months, maybe 8. 26 kids who had previously dropped out of high school are now enrolled in GED in Chemeketa, which is the local college here, at no cost to them, because of them they walked in to hang out and maybe play board games or get an energy drink. And we just run our hand over the sheep and try to build a relationship with the young people. So this model is replicatable. We've created 1,000 policies and procedures since we started from scratch. And so it's getting to where we know that we can plug and play it, and that each location will have a little bit of its own expression. But I'm married to the message and not the method. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you told Scott that he's in charge of the one in Waco, though, that he's got to be ready?
Scott knows that. Yeah, I think he knows that. We've toyed around about a building or two over there, and, God has the right location. I couldn't be more excited. I think that, like I said, we've doubled in size every year, and every year that seems ridiculous. But we did 70,000 hours of mentoring last year. And so if we double in size, we'll hit that by 29 instead of 30 for the million. But
That's amazing. I mean, what you're doing is you're thinking big, and that's because we serve a big God. I mean, we limit God because we limit ourselves, and we limit our thinking to, we can't do that. I only have $12,000 in the bank. How can I buy a $1.5 million bowling alley? I mean, come on, people. God wants it to happen. God's going to make a way, right? Now, did your wife think you were a little crazy during the beginning?
Yes. Yeah. And she might have grown more than me in this last 5 or 10 years, right? Because she's the behind the scenes, risk averse, detail oriented person, and connected to this wild dreamer, and but I tell people all the time, listen, the Holy Spirit speaks to me with a Wisconsin accent fairly often. And my wife was born and raised in Wisconsin. And so, I mean, if she gets to a point where she's in, man, I pump up my chest and I am running through burning buildings because I have that much faith. She's an incredible prayer warrior. God has given her visions for Valor and resources in areas of the country. And I mean, who am I to doubt our God, right? Yeah.
Well, I want to say one thing, Scott, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Please.
And this is what I love about you. And that is, I have learned over my 60 plus years that if we just believe God can do it and don't try to tell him how to do it, because you know what? God's already got it figured out. We don't have to figure it out. He told me that one time, Russ, you don't have to figure it out because I've already got it all figured out. That amazing things happen. And over my cancer journey, I'll just use that for an example. Sure. God has done amazing big miracles, that the kind that make me break down and cry miracles that I would have never expected. Amazing things that have happened. And so we can't limit God, right, Scott? We got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big country. There's a lot of need, but being able to create a model and demonstrate it there in Salem. And I know that the gang issues are significant in many communities. I was just having a conversation, recording an interview with our local district attorney, Josh Teetons. And he was saying, I think there's like 50 gangs in the area, and that most involvement is from 12 to 14-year-olds, which I just found is crushing. And Tim, what are you seeing in the community?
Yeah, so we started at 7th grade and up as our model for mentoring, and we moved it down to 5th grade because of the needs and asks of the school districts, and of course some of those problems have eked their way down, right? Yeah, but listen, God created us for community, and we will find it. Whether we find it in a church community, whether we find it in a business network, whether we find it in a gang, and we desire that. And so unless we can provide community opportunities for young people other than gangs, it isn't their first choice, in my opinion, right? Some of the stuff we've taken in has been looking forward to a space like that where they could come and hang out and avoid being recruited and sought after by gangs. Right. And so we do cool things, right? Video game tournaments where we give away brand new Xboxes and Beat headphones and crazy cool stuff. Right. And so we just provide cool stuff that kids like to do, D&D, and we're launching a Pokemon card game series stuff that we'll have. And so and we get the dangers of video games. Right. I hear that a lot. It can be addicting. And so but there's 8 billion people on the planet and 3.3 billion people play video games. So I think it would be ignorant of us if we didn't choose that as a missionary pool. Right. And so, yeah.
Well, why let the enemy take all the fun stuff? Why not use it for good? And I hear that all the time of social media, for example. There are so many good things that social media is used for. Like, for example, a prayer chain. I mean, I learn about so many people and can pray for so many people because of the reach of that. And so there's so many good things. So I'm with you 100%. You got to meet them where they are. And we're truly better together. We do gather together and are going to do that one way or the other. So, all right, Tim, we're rolling. We're wrapping up time here. I wanted to give you last word, give us your gold nugget or what you want people to remember, number one, from this conversation today, and then remind people how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I spent a tremendous amount of time. One of my mentors has 100,000 people in his organization. And, he's been one of the biggest influences in the way I think, incredibly disciplined. But I don't allow, now that I have defined my definite major purpose, I don't say yes to anything outside of it. And that is accelerating me as a person. It's accelerating my business day to day. No, yes, no, yes. Right. So that's partially why we're seeing the growth is I encourage everybody to spend time figuring out what your definite major purpose is, and then don't let it go. When I run into somebody and I share my goals about the size and whatever, they go, oh, that's good. I know then you're not anywhere near my inner circle. You don't think big enough, and I won't allow. I'll allow plenty of pushback. Right? I'm a very collaborative leader, but I know what I'm going to spend the rest of my life every day that I got left on the planet doing, and it's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And remind everybody how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you can reach me at tim@valormentoring.com, V as in Victor, ALOR, mentoring.com. And that's our website. Also, Welcome to the Rec is our business side of what we do. Yeah, bowling alleys and coffee shops and soon to be recreation centers and aquatic centers and all kinds of other stuff.
Perfect. Well, we have all that information in the comments and the show notes. You guys can click on it, go straight to Tim. Tim, we really, truly appreciate you and so thankful that you're here today. We're going to say goodbye to you, but hang tight in the green room after we let you go. We'll talk to you after. And thanks so much for being a blessing.
You bet. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Scott.
All right. There we are.
I knew it was just, it's inspirational. Dealing with our children, right? The youth. This is our future. I always, when I run into teachers, I thank them. People like your wife, Russ. I said, thank you for protecting our future.
Yeah, for sure. And we're so thankful for all the people in our communities locally that are doing amazing things, believers in business. And if you want more information about this show and how we're promoting that, go to local.theexperience.video today. You can join our YouTube page or just go directly to theexperience.video. We appreciate everybody being here today. Don't forget, Tim's information is all clickable and there for you. And until next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, have an amazing, amazing week. Enjoy life and enjoy
the experience locally.
Woohoo! Here we go.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to find podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.